What's up, guys? This is John Garcia, and today we're going to be talking about my A+ experience, my background, and some money saving tips which you can use for the exam. Because who doesn't like to save some money? Stay tuned. So, I can tell you guys that ever since I was a kid, I love technology. I love messing around with computers. I love breaking things and seeing what they had inside. I like to see what components they had, how they worked, and why things were working the way they did. I would take apart my computers whenever they weren't working, and I would take a peek inside and see what it contained. I did the same with my phones. I would break things, I would fix them, I would try to find solutions to viruses that I had or other people's problems with computers, and I would just do that like ever since I was a kid. I loved solving technology problems. I just love technology. Then I went on to high school. In high school, we had the opportunity of sort of having these trade / majors, you know? And I got into ECC. ECC being that electronic computer circuitry. And from there, I knew that I was going to end up doing this. Somewhere or another, I was going to end up doing something in IT. Let me tell you guys a little bit about what this major consisted of and why it was so important to me. This was a 2-year course, from sophomore year to senior year. What we did was we took a fully functioning computer and we broke it down to its very last piece. And what I mean by breaking it down to its very last piece was breaking down why every piece was essential to making the computer work. We also learned about the networking basics that made the computer functional and able to get on the web, able to work as a computer would. This 2-year-long course was really an opportunity that I wish I honestly took more seriously. I could have done a lot more from it. I could have learned a lot more from it. But you live and you learn, right? And here I am now. I'm doing what I can to get into this IT career and get to the top. After high school, I got into college. And in college, I learned that, for one, I was really into business. And secondly, that I wanted to do something that involved IT in the business world. And my college offered just that. Here I am in college, a business major with an IT concentration and some computer science classes under my belt. I was able to define what I wanted for my future. So it wasn't up until my college life that I was able to understand how big, serious, and important this whole IT industry was. So after college, I started to take things a bit more seriously. By a bit, I mean a lot. I then went on the search to find out how I can get into IT. Because I really wanted to do this. So what I found was a couple of YouTube channels. I really don't remember the names. And upon my search, I found the CompTIA organization and their varying certifications. I then found out that the A+ was a certification that many employers were interested in. So I started studying for it. There's that. That's my background in IT, and the help, it really did help me in getting A+ certified. But that's not to say that I didn't put in the hours, that I didn't study as hard as I did, because I did. I did study hard, and I did prep. And that's how I was able to pass the A+ exam in that amount of time. Now, for the good stuff. The things that people really do not talk about on their YouTube channels. Picking a location, how to save money, and what not to use to get ready for that exam. 1, location. Location and location. I say this because upon booking your location, you will understand that many people review these places and they let you know how they felt, how they were treated, and the general vibe of that place. Your testing place, that is. So in my experience, my location was okay. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great either. I'm pretty sure most testing locations have their own set of rules, but generally I believe they should all be sort of the same. My testing location asked for me to be there 15 to 30 minutes beforehand. The reason for this was for the picture that was going to be taken, the signing of the contract, and the storing of the valuables. When entering the testing location, I wasn't able to take any of my valuables with me. I was to store my cell phone and everything else that I brought along with me. From there, I was to go inside and sit in my assigned computer and get ready to take this exam. I was also provided with some earbuds, some headphones, and some scrap paper. Now on to number 2. Some really helpful money-saving tips which could determine whether or not you take the exam today or a month later. A lot of these certification programs offer these student vouchers where you only have to pay half the price of the exam. So instead of you paying, let's say, $400, you're going to be paying $200 for the A+ exam. If you're like most people, saving $200 on the A+ would be a really big deal. Those $200 can come in handy when you want to retake the exam if you fail, or if you want to take another certification, such as your Network Plus. Hey, if you can save $200, you save $200. Go about doing this would be, if you're not a student yourself, you would get a cousin, a brother, a friend who's a student, and you use their EDU email. With the email, you're able to purchase any student voucher you want from their site, and you'll get that discount. Another important tip would be not to buy any of those silly books they have online for the exam. Definitely not worth it, and a huge waste of money. The bundles where they have those labs and tutorials and practice exams are, I think, overkill. You really don't need all that material for the price that they offer it at. It's really expensive, and it's way too much and really unnecessary. You could find everything you need online, free and available to you anytime you want. The only reason and scenario I see where you would need this type of information, this type of resource, would be if you absolutely necessarily need to know every single detail that goes into that book, which I don't see happening. Yes, all these different kinds of books and labs and tests are important and helpful and everything, but they're not for everyone. I don't think they're for everyone, and I don't think they're necessary. They're too damn expensive, and they're not for people who are strapped for cash. People who put aside this amount of money and make this investment to try and get ahead. So if you really do not have the money, I'm telling you, it's really not necessary. You have everything you need online. It's all out there, and it's free, and it's available all the time. It's all online, and it's all you need. Everything else is just overkill. Wrapping things up here, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about how I felt before taking the exam and after taking the exam. That day, there was parking. I found adequate parking where there wouldn't be a chance of me getting a ticket, which was amazing. It's really crazy, really. So I went into the testing center. I went through the check-in process. I sat down. I got mentally prepared. And I told myself, this is it. I'm here. I have to pass. And I proceeded to go through the legal stuff and click start. Upon starting this exam, I was soon able to realize that the exam wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. Really, it really wasn't that hard. If you studied and did your research, you were going to pass. The exam isn't anything too crazy. You just need to put in the work. Another important tip is to study. I say this because many go in thinking that just because they've been in the IT field for some time, that it's going to be a breeze, it's going to be easy, you're just going to go in there and ace that exam. And that's not the case. It's not the case for everybody. Maybe for a few, but not for everyone. This is to prepare well. The exam, the CompTIA exam, has a specific kind of terminology, vocabulary that they use, and if you don't get used to it or familiarize yourself with it, then you're not going to do well. And it's important you do. You go over some of it. If you've been in the field for so long and you're really knowledgeable and all that, then you do some studying and you take that exam and pass it. There you go, guys. There goes my experience in taking that A+ exam. I spoke to you guys a little bit about how I felt before the exam, the process, and some money-saving tips, which are always helpful, in my opinion. And we've come to the end of the video. Stay tuned for more videos coming up in the future. Comment, like, share, and subscribe.